persuasionsquared.com.
Well, you've had two speakers to persuade you, for and against. Let's hear from our second speaker for the motion that democracy is India's Achilles heel. Patrick French is another award-winning writer and historian. His most recent book is India, a Portrait, an intimate portrait of 1.2 billion people, he says. Patrick.
Thank you. Let me tell you a story. At the last general election, I found myself in Kanpur, which to some people here will still be known as Kaunpur. And I wanted to see Mukhtar Ansari, who was a senior aspiring politician. And the place that I had to go and meet him was in Kanpur District Jail. And inside the jail, he'd managed to build himself a basketball court, and he had Harrods soap in the bathroom. Now, the criminalization of elements of Indian democracy, a problem that has gotten much worse in the last 10 or 20 years, is not something we can ignore. Fortunately, William even referred to this earlier when he was speaking, but let me give a few more examples of the kind of MPs that are ruling India today in the name of democracy. People who are charged with 3 cases of murder, 10 cases of attempted murder, house trespass causing hurt and mischief. You might say that every MP is probably guilty of mischief. Kidnapping with intent to murder, attempt to murder, wrongful confinement, causing hurt by means of poison, dacoity with intent to cause death, and so on. This is not something that is incidental. This is to do with the fact that in large parts of central and northern India, if you are a crime boss, you need representation in the state assembly with the MLAs, and you need it in the centre in the Lok Sabha with the MPs. And you make every effort to take over democracy. And that is what has happened to a large extent. There's a different but associated problem, which is extreme corruption. Many of you will have seen the photographs of the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, Mayawati, being garlanded with 1,000 rupee notes, which are kind of so enormous it's like a giant anaconda of banknotes is being put around her. You will have heard of figures like Jagan Reddy in Andhra Pradesh, whose father died a year or two ago, and who amazingly, in the short time that his father was running that state, managed to go from, let's not say zero, but to a situation now where he has an annual income of £65 million, where he was discovered by the CBI only a few months ago, living in a 75-room palace which he had just built for himself. Now, this problem of corruption is not something that is only comical for the people at the top of the pile. It also extends right down to the roots of Indian society. We had only a few days ago a truck driver in UP, in Uttar Pradesh, being shot by the police after he failed to produce a 5,000 rupee bribe. And there's a further third association. There's criminalization, there's corruption, and crucially, there is nepotism. When I was researching my most recent book, I did a survey of how every one of India's 545 MPs had got into Parliament. And one of the most shocking things was that the incidence of nepotism has grown and grown and grown. If you plot a graph between heredity and age, and you look at MPs over the age of 80, you'll find that 0%, none of them,